Chella is located in the Moroccan capital, Rabat. It is one of the ancient castles or cities dating back to BC. It was classified on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2012. The construction of Chella dates back to the 6th century BC, and it is considered among the oldest archaeological sites in Morocco. According to Anadolu Agency, Chella was initially established by the Phoenicians as a trading center on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. In the 3rd century AD, it was settled by Roman merchants. It was a port and its banks their commercial boats moored. On the walls of its citadel and on its walls, the succession of cultures is visible in this bygone metropolis, Chella. Roman arches and inscriptions dating back to the Almoravid era. And the Yamnara Mosque with Andalusian mosaics, a spacious courtyard, and a garden with tall trees. It was built by the Marinid kings, referring to the Banu Marin who ruled the Maghreb countries from 1244 to 1465 AD, who chose this historic city to be their final residence. They were buried there, due to that the Cemetery of the Honorable was established. On the ruins of the Romans and the Phoenicians, and the ruins left by the Mamluks who crossed this ancient city and who ruled Maghreb al-Aqsa for different periods, the kings of the Marinid state restored Chella to its brilliance. In it, they established a garden in the Islamic Andalusian style. The city recorded the history of everyone who passed through its land, beginning with the Phoenicians and ending with the Moriscos, the Muslims who remained in Spain after the fall of Andalusia. To which, Chella, and its neighbor, Rabat, they came as refugees after the fall of their state. According to Independent Arabia website, a huge earthquake struck the city of Lisbon in 1755, and its impact reached some areas of Morocco, including the capital, Rabat, where Chella lost a large part of its components. The floors and large columns collapsed, the Roman statues were destroyed, the large columns and the triumphal arch fell, in addition to the minaret being damaged. Then the city witnessed a wave of looting lasted for decades, while the French authorities, during their colonization of Morocco, from 1956 to 1912, carried out restoration, cleaning, and planting Chella plants in 1930. During that process, it carried out excavation work to uncover the city that had been buried underground, until UNESCO carried out another large and comprehensive restoration operation in 1960. Most of the tourists and visitors who visit Chella never skip visiting Noon Basin, also known as Mermaid's Basin. Noon Basin is a small water pond, inside the walls of Chella Castle, in which small snake-like eel fish swim. Eel fish in Arabic called noon, and the basin was named after it. This basin is full of historical legends and stories that made it somehow sacred. It is believed that the sacred place grant wishes. In the heart of the visitors of the Noon Basin there is a wish that they hope it will come true. All they have to do, according to legend, is to throw a coin and whisper their heart's desires. According to some websites, Farah al-Sadia, a woman over 60 years old, who inherited responsibility for supervising the basin after her husband's death, says that the water is blessed, and throwing money, with intention, fulfills wishes, no matter how far-fetched those wishes are. Farha sits next to the basin, and she settles next to her a wooden board lined with some candles, matches, and boiled eggs. They are a popular trade in this place that make it easier for the visitor to perform rituals that people are accustomed to. Lighting candles is a common custom to get closer to saints, righteous people, and jinn as well. As for eggs, to feed the noon fish, which Farha says they will die if people do not feed them. For the tourist guide, Ahmed Ayuras, he believes that throwing money into the basin in order to make dreams come true is nothing but a myth, as people here cling to any means that can fulfill their wishes. And the money that visitors throw into the basin is shared by the workers here. And he added that infertile women visit this basin, wash themselves with spring water, and light candles in the belief that these rituals protect them from infertility. Ahmed opposes to these myths and attributes them to the cultural heritage deeply rooted in the minds of Moroccans. However, he admits that most of the women who come to treat the infertility are cured, and gave birth, and he attributes this to psychological reasons as most of these women live in poor life conditions, and are in a worse psychological state, and washing with water, which contains blessing, gives them reassurance, and most importantly, complete conviction of the achieved recovery. What makes Noon Basin famous is the belief that it is haunted, as the legend tells that these fish are nothing but a representation of female jinn who have a great queen that guards the treasures of Solomon. Legend says that when the sun comes down and the darkness of the night take over the place, the jinn of the basin emerges from her hiding place in majesty, followed by the rest of the jinn who appear in the form of flying fish hovering in the sky of Chella castle. The lady residing near the basin did not see the jinn of the castle, but she confirms that the entire castle is haunted and owned by the jinn. She believes that place is the jinn's property.